Hey everybody, I am here today with Neil Denot, and he is going to go through some energy stuff with us. And I thought this was so fascinating, so I think you guys will too. But Neil, I have so many questions for you, but please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Neil Denot, formerly of New York. I know Rebecca personally and have worked with her professionally, but I now live in San Diego, California. I help people with their bodies, rebalance their muscles, their shift the way that they use their bodies, and move the energy through their bodies, as well as help them understand how the energy is affecting their bodies to help them heal.
Absolutely. So, just a quick note. I used to do personal training with Neil, and he always had
Mhm.
different ways of like when we do a hard workout and I'm like super sore, but he always had ways to make it so much easier. And I don't think at the time I fully grasped what you were able to do for me until I started learning more about our bodies, our minds, and how everything works together as I got older. So I'm appreciative of what you did back then.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And yeah, like it's one of those. I mean, energy is energy, and we're all trying to protect our energy. So I can only imagine when coaches and wellness businesses and healers are out there and they're working with people, that has to be quite draining. I know people drain me, but do you find that too?
Well, you know, like you said, everything's energy. And one of the things we learned about energy, or you learn about energy when you work with energy, particularly, is that you have to not necessarily protect your energy, but you have to balance your energy. Because the word protect, in my opinion, gives a connotation of fear, right? We don't want to be in a fearful place. We always want to be in a grounded, connected place where we're connected to our higher being, whether it's God, whatever you call it. We're connected to the source of what we are, and we have to start by balancing our field and our energy. And if we're not aware of this, which is something I was not aware of years ago, like you say, working with energy, how it used to affect me being empathic. So one of the things, many things I've learned over the years is how to make sure that my fields are clear and solid so I can move through life and those things won't attach or I won't absorb them. And even after I work with people, I have rituals that I go in and I wash my hands, my face, and I say certain things to myself to clear my fields again. So there's an energetic hygiene that most of us don't really know or even aware of. So it's very easy for us to draw in other people's energy if we're not aware of that.
Yeah, I love that. Energetic hygiene. That's I've never heard that before. And I love that you're putting it that way because that's very true. And like when I'm coming onto a client call, I have to make sure that I've got the energy that I need to make them excited about marketing. And but I love that afterwards, yeah, we probably do. I probably have to do that as well and just kind of release anything that they had with me. That's really cool. Yeah. And
Yeah, it's a practice. It's just like anything. You start learning it, and the more you do it, the better you are. And then that puts you in the best state you want to be in. So whatever you're going to do, whether it's just sit down and write something or have a client call, you're fully present, you're fully connected, and that is the foundation of all we do, right?
yeah, I love that. Now, I can imagine that it also can affect your central nervous system. So for me, I know that if I'm out in like big crowds of people, I feel it in my nervous system. Do you have any tips for that, like for regulating or balancing your central nervous system?
Absolutely. The central nervous system is activated in many of us, if not the majority of us, and we don't even realize that because we're so used to it, whether it's outside stimulation, maybe it's just worries, concerns, caffeine, other things, and we live in this accelerated state. Well, that nervous system's on, and that creates discord because we're not in harmony in ourselves.
Mhm.
So to create that harmony in ourselves, one of the best ways I learned is called something called conscious breathing, where I prefer to close my eyes, and I think that helps me really center myself. And we do mouth breathing through the mouth, out through the mouth. And what you start to do is draw the breath into your body. And there's like kind of a still point, like right here below your sternum, right? Where you feel the energy start to come into here. And I just command my central nervous system to shut off. Sometimes I ask maybe spirit or God to help me do that. And I do that breath work. And again, a practice, right? Because it might not shut off right away. It might take 5 minutes to do this. But as you start to get out of your head and get into your body, we could spread that oxygen around, and we can spread that energy around, and we can actually feel the energy move to our body, but you will feel the nervous system shut off. And it's been very helpful. And at times, um, if I get a little worked up, I have to go do that because, again, it's about being centered and keeping your energy balanced.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And man, like if I need to know how to start shut my nervous system down for a little bit and just give myself a break, you know? Hmm. So when you're thinking about stuff like that, when like when I was going through a lot of the work for my own self, like there were little early signs that I knew my anxiety was about to creep up, like my ears would get really warm. Are there things that you notice very early on when your energy is not balanced in your body?
Um, the awareness grows. I remember there was years I didn't know. I remember there was times where like I would just kind of be triggered or react and didn't know why, and realized that was somebody else's energy. But as time goes on, um, I think it's different for everybody. But for me, I feel it in my chest. Um, I just start to feel a little bit of accelerated, like I'm getting like tensed up to like fight or flight. I feel that fight or flight kicking in. Um, but sometimes you can hear like sounds, signals, or maybe freak, whatever it is, and what whenever something comes into your field or changes your chemistry or your physiology, you know, emotionally fit, when you feel that, it's that's the opportunity to do that. And it's really about getting better at recognizing when those happen, because we might not pay attention. We might be in our mind elsewhere. And we just practice doing that and we get better at it. But yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah. I mean, we all, and I think you're right, like we don't notice, we're not paying attention. It's not that we can't notice, we're not paying attention to our bodies in that way. You and I, we grew up in New York. There's a lot of high-strung people there, so it's nothing out of the ordinary to feel that way. And you're just like, okay, this is how everybody is. But I'm sure
Yeah.
once you got to San Diego, you were like, this is not how everybody is.
We're still human here, and the key word is conscious. You hear that word thrown around a lot, and it's presented in many different ways, but conscious is really just being present with all that you are and all that you do. And realizing that we have a choice to be in fight or flight or not be in fight or flight. We've just never been taught that. And so if you see people get upset and we all get triggered and sometimes we get emotional, it happens. But when we do that, that's us not being fully present with ourselves and allowing our bodies to take over and not, you know, or our minds to take over and not being fully aware of the choices we're making. So the word is awareness, and with awareness comes a new opportunity to choose differently.
Definitely. I mean, all the people in my audience that are coaches, they know how important awareness is, and everybody's at a different stage of awareness. I remember thinking that I was so aware of myself when I was living in New York, and now, uh, and even now, I can still say like I have more awareness, but there's still so much more to go. Like this isn't a skill you learn and then you're done. It's an ongoing evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Nice.
100%. It is a daily practice. And honestly, one would consider this is the purpose of life, is to learn these things and to grow uh, spiritually through this experience in the physical body. And it's a signal. It's all things that come to our bodies, whether it's pain or just a sensation, or telling us something that we aren't hearing because we're not fully present or fully connected.
Absolutely. And I feel like too, it's if we are wanting to live our best lives, and I know that's such a cheesy statement, but It all comes from us understanding ourselves and creating our own path, which I don't think we all think we can do.
Yeah, it takes a little courage. I'm not gonna lie, but so many people are we're all willing to do what's put in front of us, but a lot of times it's not what's in front of us is not what's right for us, and it's just being open to a new way of being and just being okay with whatever comes. It's not the easiest thing to do, but it is probably the most rewarding thing that you can do
Agreed.
for
Absolutely.
yourself. Mhm.
So if somebody wants to get in contact with you to learn more about energy work or the things that you offer, how can they get a hold of you?
Easiest way is healingspotsd@gmail.com. You can also call me or text me, 619-736-8995. Those are the best ways to get me. I mean, obviously, these days, everything all comes to the same device. So I'll keep it simple for everybody.
Absolutely. So we'll include those in the notes below. And any last words or advice for our listeners?
Um, Remember that we're all eternal beings, that there's a lot of noise in this world, and it can make us feel something, and it's up to us to be aware of what we're walking through in life, and that we are aligning ourselves with what's most important to us. And that doesn't come from here, that comes from here. This is your heart, and your heart connection is your connection to the divine, wherever you believe in or follow. This is where your intelligence really lies, and this is where your truth lies. If you want truth in your life, you only have to look within yourself for it. And I wish everybody the most success they have, or they can have, finding and living their own truth.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Neil. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today. I think we're going to have many more of these conversations because there's so many good things that you do for everyone. But thank you for today.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. I really appreciate it. It's good talking to you as always.
Absolutely. Bye for now.